What a wonderful day it was when Espinas was finally confirmed for Sunbreak. Demand was incredibly high for a Frontier monster to show up with the MMOs closing, and I think for what it's worth, the base Espinas did not disappoint. Threatening, throwing out multiple statuses, and a bruising physical fighting style definitely matched my expectation of a monster that's, let's be honest, was more or less a flagship for the entire Frontier game. And it's this flagship status that leads us onto the topic of Zenith Espinas. Like Rathlos, there was pretty much no way it wasn't going to get a shiny new form being unveiled very early on. The design concept is, well, I'm just going to say it. It's bloody good. And here's where we talk about spikes in Frontier's design. There's no defending some choices, normally burst species or some hardcore monster designs, but this addition of extra poison saturated spikes and more to Zenith Espi is something that just makes sense. Espinas being the Spanish word for thorns, the green and red design, it's obvious to even the most dedicated of Stevie Wonder cosplayers that this guy is modelled after a rose. So naturally, they've turned the Zenith into an entire bush. The horn is overgrown with vines. Now this may on a surface level look like some simple set dressing. It is, however, a hint at something further. You see, we know that Espinas' natural state is sound asleep, since it doesn't really have a lot of predators or rivals that can challenge it on an equal level, and it isn't too far-fetched to think that this would cause plant life to grow on it. So, what were to happen if this Espinas was the turbocharged Zenith version that only the most brave of lobotomy survivors would think of taking on? Simple. It would be covered in foliage. This Espinas does not get challenged often, and it's even been left alone long enough for the horn to grow in the same haphazard way that the vegetation grows, twisting and sprouting additional limbs in a wonderfully asymmetric way. It's this vibrant purple colour from the sheer amount of venom running through it, and the rest of the wing and back spikes have also shifted in a similar way. Hell, even the wing membrane has discoloured due to the sheer toxicity of the thing. There's a clear intention with the design here, and it delivers by the bucket load. Not that you would accuse the thing of it, but it's very clearly an Espinas that is not fucking around. Naturally, we know where this is going. The Thorn Wyvern is a poison monster, and that status gets a Z boost. Let me tell you, Zenith Poison, no frills, no fancy effects, this is poison that kills you. You know those snake bites that coagulate your blood into gelatin in seconds? I'm pretty sure that's what this effect does. Your health will immediately start draining down the moment it's inflicted, so you could be flying backwards from a hit and be dead before you even hit the ground. This poison increases with quest levels, so by the time you hit G rank 800, you may not even have enough time to sheath your weapon before you're sent straight into the lung inverter. To cure Zenith Poison, the only possible item that can be used is a Venom Cure, which drops as a purple shiny by the monsters that inflict the status. It'll be left behind either after certain attacks, or if you feel brave and decide to flash bomb the thing, so make sure you're either grabbing them when you can, or more effectively, just not getting hit by Zenith Poison ever. Ever. Thankfully, Capcom had mercy on us and chose not to add Zenith Fireblight to the mix, but the poison is deadly enough. We'll also see the return of Zenith Wind Pressure on this singular attack that can throw you into a poison cloud, so you've just got to be aware that the roll is slightly delayed on this one. Okay, ancillary stuff out of the way, what attacks does this monster start with at the G rank 200 level? What's going to be the bread and butter you need to look out for? The big one is the drill attack. Espinas will jump back, drill forward and stop in place as debris comes raining down. It's fairly quick but also a very unique jump back animation, so you should get familiar with this tell very easily. Your options here are to roll at the very last second as you've got to iframe the entire length of its body, or the better option is to run around the move. You just have to make sure that you're in the patch of ground Espinas just drilled through when it stops moving, as this will prevent you from being hit by the shrapnel. If you misjudge this, you'll get smacked multiple times, which will proc an instant stun on you. It's pretty irritating, but you get a massive opening if you manage to move back into place, so the smart thing to do is make sure you aren't standing under a bunch of rocks. Honestly, the base kit of Espinas is amped up enough that the new version didn't really need all that many new tricks. Since the explosions are larger, the melee attacks now inflict this deadlier poison, and you still get paralysed by the fire, meaning you are likely to be locked in one place and die of poison if you wander into a fireball. However, there is this little fancy AoE it gets now, and in a rare case for Frontier it can't be rolled through yet, since it leaves a lingering cloud of poison around it, so your only option, for now, is to back up. This is the main effect of the Zenith Horn break, by the way, we'll do that section here. If you break the horn, the lingering cloud disappears, and you can roll through the ground burst nice and easy, as well as the poison from melee attacks mostly disappearing and the roar being downgraded from Zenith to manageable levels. All things considered, that's it. Zenith Poison is enough of a threat, and unlike Zenith Fire, you can't mitigate it at all. So there's always going to be a significant amount of damage that slap you at any time. SP really didn't need much. You can of course invest into Poison Resist and the Zenith Poison skill, but as far as I'm aware that only downgrades it to regular Poison, and it's too much of an investment besides just rolling around it. Onto G rank 400, and it's more standard fare here. We get a treat of a brand new fireball attack whereby Espinas will bowl the fire towards you. This could be easily rolled through, but you have to be mindful of your distance. You see, whereas most fireballs we see in the series go on forever, these travel a set distance then explode. So make sure that you're closing the gap as much as you can, otherwise your roll will end with you in the middle of an explosion. No changes at G rank 600 aside from continuing the jaunt through the wonderful Flower Field map. It is a gorgeous setting, and it's got some cool environmental effects. I mean, why not? Let's also take a look at some of the gear whilst we're at it. Honestly, the magnet spikes, they are iconic. It's no wonder this one was used as the poster child for the weapon's launch. Moving on to G rank 800, and we get treated to this little juggle move. It's a short hop that slams you into the air, then you get dragged around by the horn. The combination of physical power and poison will likely knock you for 6, but this attack has such a short range, it's really only those right under the beast that will get thrown around. You may even only get hit by the initial slam, and Espinas may just miss you outright with the follow-up. At any rate, it's really more of an issue if you roll carelessly, as you may find yourself in the line of fire for the second part of the attack rather than the first. All pretty insignificant. Once again, it's the poison that will have you in the dirt before you can even sheath your weapon. Zenith Espinas is, by all rights, one of the most iconic monsters of the classification. The gnarled horn, the deadly poison, and the vibrant colours are all just the template of what these monsters are about. What do you think? Too overblown, or does it live up to the legend? Would love to see some comments about what you think. This concludes the Zenith Espinas report, a pretty short one for such an iconic monster, but we'll be going for the final wetlands report in the next episode. So I hope you've enjoyed this look so far. Thanks for watching, Cera out.